Hello Internet, and welcome to the Damn Lasers tutorial series. Today I'm going to provide an overview of configuring Capture 2025 to visualize lasers from Liberation. Liberation is a next-gen laser software to control complex laser shows. It can do beam lasers, graphics, projection mapping, you name it. It's free to learn, meaning you can create shows using the built-in 3D visualizer, create your own clips and laser effects, even save and export your work without paying for a subscription. Capture is a popular lighting pre-visualization software, or previs software, which enables the user to build complex, real-world lighting environments and create realistic 3D renderings of lights, visuals, lasers, and stage designs. It actually does a lot more than that, but this video is going to focus on its ability to ingest laser feeds from Liberation for 3D rendering. Why would we want to use Capture when Liberation has a built-in 3D visualizer? Well, Capture offers a much more complete visual environment. It enables the user to create venues, stages using their built-in models, or you can import your own custom 3D models. Then design lighting rigs with real truss specifications, real lighting fixtures, both the models and the behavior, and you program everything from actual DMX, actual video feeds, and actual laser feeds. This gives you a much more comprehensive view of your final rendered scene, which should more closely match the environment in real life. Capture support was added in Liberation version 1.0.3, and the documentation can be found at docs.liberationlaser.com or using the link in the description. An active Liberation subscription is required to send laser output to Capture, just like sending laser output to real lasers. And the number of laser feeds into Capture is limited based on your subscription tier. This tutorial assumes a basic understanding of Liberation, so I will not go into things like laser settings, creating clips, or similar concepts in this video. If you need to get familiar with Liberation first, please watch Seb's tutorial on his YouTube channel using the link in the description. I assume that you already have both software installed. They can be installed on the same computer or different computers connected to each other on the same network. Either use case works fine, but multiple computers will require a little bit more networking setup. A Capture license is not needed to test this feature, but the Capture demo mode will not allow you to save your work, and it will lock your session after 90 minutes. If Capture and Liberation are running on the same computer, the setup is simple. Open Capture and select your design. In this case, we'll create a new design to show how to set up laser fixtures and feeds. Now open Liberation and look in the top status bar next to the frame rate counters. If you see this indicator, it means Liberation is already connected to Capture and is ready to send laser feeds. Hover over it to show the connection status. In this case, it shows my Capture endpoint is connected and the IP address. If you don't see this indicator, try closing Capture and opening it again. Inside Liberation, add the number of lasers you want to send to Capture. If you already have a show file like I have here, and it's already set up with lasers configured, you're already ready to test laser feeds. In this case, I have 5 lasers and will set up 4 of them in Capture. Back in Capture, go to the Project pane and the Media tab. You should see the Liberation heading with the number of lasers that you have set up in Liberation. And we'll also show the IP address of your Liberation computer, which in my case is not the same as the computer that's running Capture. If you are using multiple computers, or you otherwise don't see the Capture status indicator in Liberation, or the laser feeds in Capture, your network configuration may need some adjustment. I do not recommend using Wi-Fi for this connection, so I set the service priority for both my Mac and Windows computers to prefer the Ethernet network that I have here in my studio. Now that the laser feeds are working, we'll create a quick stage in Capture using the black box object and an 8-meter truss from 2 4-meter sections. On this truss, we'll add 4 OptLaser PR4000 laser projectors from the fixture database. Let's spread these lasers out across the truss since I entered the wrong distance value when duplicating them. That looks better. Now we have 4 lasers mounted on the truss, but they're not set up correctly. Let's make sure that we have these lasers set to the correct orientation. Select all the lasers by fixture type using Shift-Control-T or Command-Shift-T on Mac. We notice that all the lasers are pointing down. Let's use the 3D view to set up the initial position of the lasers using their test cards. The test card will show the maximum scan angle and brightness of a chosen laser projector. Select the laser and then use Ctrl-Shift-T to select all of them. We already noticed that they're pointing to the ground, so let's angle them a bit forward. We notice the arrows in the 3 different views are moving up. Now it looks like the lasers are probably facing forward, but let's confirm that in 3D. We'll shift the beta view to the 3D rendering by pressing Ctrl-R or Command-R. Unfortunately, in this view, we don't see anything because we don't have any light in the room. Select one of the lasers, and in the 3D view, we see a settings menu option. Click the settings menu, and on the bottom left, it says ambient light. Increase the ambient light in the room so we can start to see the walls and the truss. My camera has already been positioned. You will need to move your camera around for this. Once you have the room to a suitable light level, again in the fixture settings pane, with the laser selected, increase the dimmer until you see the laser start to output white light. This is the test card. Now select the rest of the lasers, again using Ctrl-Shift-T or Command-Shift-T, and increase all of their dimmers until all of the test cards are shown. Now we can use the handles in each of the 2D views to fine-tune the position of the lasers. Or, if we wish, we can use the 3D view and simply right-click the area where we want the laser to be centered. In my case, I'm going to use the handles. This is a simple repositioning to bring the outer lasers a bit more towards the center. Once your lasers are in position, select them all, go back to the project pane, Design tab, Selected Items pane, and turn off the test card by scrolling down to the Display Test Card parameter and setting it to No. The laser should turn off. Now, deselect your lasers and select the first laser individually. Again, scroll down the selected items and find the option just above test card that says Media. Open Media and select your first Liberation laser feed. Repeat this process for each individual laser on your truss. We should now have 4 lasers with 4 different media feeds. We select all of the lasers at once. We notice that the media says mixed values. Back in Liberation, we can now zone our lasers to our room in Capture. Arm the first laser and enable the test pattern. You can either do this for the laser or a test pattern across all zones like I have in my case. In Capture, we should now see a Liberation test pattern coming from laser 1. Back in Liberation, arm the rest of the lasers, and all lasers in Capture should be showing the Liberation test pattern. If not, recheck the media settings for the affected laser as well as the dimmer. Now simply set up the zoning for all of your lasers inside Liberation the same way you would in a real room. Move your camera around inside Capture to have a look at different views the same way you would in real life. You could change the camera to an overhead view to show what it will look like from a balcony. You can even add an animated crowd to show what the audience will look like under the lasers. Once your zones are set up, disable the test pattern, start sending content to the zones, and have fun with your virtual lasers. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please like the video. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. Remember to subscribe to the Damn Lasers channel for more tutorials and laser videos. And thank you for watching.